Hi everyone and welcome back to Woodside Walker. Today we're exploring Bishon Farm, a beautiful old farmhouse with a dark and tragic story attached to it. According to local rumours, a young girl once fell through the floor of the house and lost her life. Unable to cope with the tragedy, her father is said to have later taken his own life in the attic. It's a story that has circulated for years and has become firmly attached to the property. But is any of it actually true? Today we're going to take a deep dive into the history of Bishon Farm. We'll examine the census records, old newspaper reports, farm sales, marriages, deaths, crime reports and modern planning records to see whether the evidence supports the legend. As always, we're going to follow the documents wherever they lead. So let's begin. The farmhouse itself dates back to the 17th century and was later extended during the 19th century. It is a timber frame building with brick infill standing on a substantial rubble plinth beneath a tiled roof. The building has developed into a T-plan farmhouse and retains many historic features including sash windows, attic rooms, timber framing and an original staircase with pierced balusters and a moulded handrail. Looking at the property today, it is easy to understand why stories have attached themselves to it over the centuries. The earliest documentary reference I found actually predates our census records. In September 1830, the Herefordshire Journal reported the marriage of Sarah, second daughter of the Gardiner family of Bishon. It is only a brief announcement, but it shows that the family were already established and respected members of the local community. This is our first clear glimpse into the people associated with the farm. And just 4 years later, the newspapers reveal major changes. In October 1834, advertisements appeared announcing the sale of farming stock bred by the late Mr. Gardiner of Bishon. The sale included cattle, sheep, pigs, cider and fruit, providing a fascinating snapshot of the scale of the operation. The auction listed 12 young cows in calf, numerous steers and heifers, 175 sheep, 50 store pigs and 40 hogsheads of cider. This was clearly no small holding, but a substantial farming enterprise. A month later, another advertisement announced the sale of the entire Bishon estate. The property was described as a valuable freehold farm in one of the most fertile and picturesque parts of Herefordshire, comprising a good dwelling house, extensive farm buildings, orchards and more than 100 acres of productive land. Even in the 1830s, Bishon Farm was regarded as a highly desirable property. Our first census arrives in 1841. At this point, Bishon Farm was occupied by Benjamin Gardiner, aged 30, so he had obviously been able to buy back the farm, and his wife Harriet Gardiner, also aged 30. Living with them were their children, George Gardiner, aged 8, Mary Gardiner, aged 7, Sarah Gardiner, aged 5, and Tunstall Gardiner, aged 4. The household becomes much more interesting when we look beyond the immediate family. Also living on the farm was Anne Werry, a 36-year-old governess, suggesting the family had enough wealth to employ someone specifically to educate their children. Then we encounter something rather unusual. Listed at the farm were several people working as tailors. These included James Lawford, aged 20, Samuel Jones, aged 18, John Gunter, aged 20, Thomas Jones, aged 15, and even William Haynes, who was only 10 years old. Why so many tailors were connected with a farmhouse remains completely unclear. Also present were horsebreakers, including Charles Morris, aged 20, Martha, aged 25, Elizabeth Meredith, aged 18, and a 50-year-old charwoman named Mary Jones. Rather than a simple farming household, Bishon appears to have been a surprisingly busy and diverse place. A few years later, in 1849, the Hereford Times reported that a servant employed by Mr. Lloyd of Bishon won first prize at the Staunton-upon-Wye ploughing match. It may seem like a small detail, but agricultural competitions were prestigious events and suggest the farm enjoyed a reputation for good farming practices. By the 1851 census, the farm was occupied by William Lloyd, who at the age of 35 was farming an impressive 840 acres. Living with him was his wife Sarah Lloyd, aged 30. The scale of the farm is reflected by the workforce living there. 20-year-old Elizabeth Bridgewater worked as a dairymaid, while Charlotte Williams, aged 17, was employed as a general servant. Agricultural labour was carried out by Thomas Watkins, aged 25, William Jinks, aged 18, James Crump, aged 19, and William Ridley, aged just 15. Then during this same year, Bishon Farm became the focus of one of the most dramatic newspaper reports in its history. In November 1851, the Hereford Journal reported a daring highway robbery involving William Lloyd. Returning late from Hereford Market, Lloyd gave a lift to a man named Thomas Chamberlain. During the journey, Lloyd attempted to leave the gig and fell. Before he could recover, Chamberlain allegedly attacked him, kicking him violently and rendering him unconscious. When Lloyd regained consciousness, he discovered he had been robbed and abandoned. The story became even more extraordinary afterwards. Lloyd's servants searched for him and found his horse and gig overturned in a ditch. A determined investigation by Superintendent Gregory eventually led to Chamberlain's arrest near the scene of the crime. Newspapers praised the officer's skill and persistence, and the entire episode reads more like a Victorian crime novel than a local newspaper report. The 1861 census shows William, aged 46, and farming 247 acres. His wife, Sarah Lloyd, was recorded as being 38. Living and working at the farm were Anne of Valor, aged 19, a dairymaid, Mary Evans, aged only 12, a housemaid, Charles Delahaye, aged 30, a waggoner, William Waite, aged 13, a cowman, George Meredith, aged 17, a waggoner, and George Lewis, aged 12, listed as a waggoner's boy. Looking at these ages reminds us just how young many agricultural workers were during the Victorian era. Newspaper records soon reveal major changes in Lloyd's personal life. In January 1862, the death of Sarah Lloyd was reported at Bishon Farm. Later that same year, William Lloyd married Caroline Withers of Monmouthshire. Then in 1863, extensive auction announcements revealed that Lloyd was retiring from farming altogether. The sales listed 134 sheep, 54 purebred Hereford cattle, horses, pigs, farming equipment, machinery, household furniture, bacon, cider and casks. These advertisements effectively provide a complete inventory of a thriving Victorian farm at the moment its owner stepped away from agriculture. By 1865, the next farming family had begun leaving their mark on Bishon. Newspaper advertisements show Thomas Barnett selling prime cider and turnip seed from the farm, demonstrating that cider production remained an important part of the property's identity. The 1871 census records Thomas Barnett, aged 64, farming 250 acres alongside his wife Harriet, aged 63. Living with them were their sons Thomas Barnett, aged 35, Charles Barnett, aged 32, and George Barnett, aged 25. Also present were Mary Meredith, aged 15, and farm servants William Lewis, aged 19, and George Matthews, aged 16. Farming at Bishon was clearly a family business. In 1881, Thomas Barnett was still farming at the remarkable age of 74, while Harriet Barnett was 73. Their sons remained at the property along with domestic servant Harriet Brace and indoor servants Albert Brace and Thomas Nash. The 1891 census records Harriet Barnett as farmer at the age of 82. Living with her were sons Thomas Barnett, aged 50, and William Barnett, aged 44, along with 19-year-old Rose Barnett, whose precise relationship to the family is unclear. She may have been a daughter or perhaps a granddaughter. That same year, newspaper advertisements announced another major auction at Bishon Farm following the death of Mrs. Barnett. Once again, the farm was entering a period of transition. The 1901 census records Charles D. Barnett, aged 61, as farmer, assisted by domestic servants Ellen A. Bevan, aged 59, and Kate Wall, aged 17. A few years later, in 1905, Charles Barnett was reported to be giving up farming. Another large sale followed, involving cattle, sheep, horses, machinery, cider presses, and even old carved oak furniture. The farm continued to evolve as one generation passed responsibility to the next. By 1921, Bishon Farm was occupied by Thomas Watkins, aged 36, and his wife Marion Watkins, aged 32. Living with them were their young sons, Russell W. Watkins, aged 7, and Raymond C. H. Watkins, aged 4, together with domestic servant Gertrude Rowanhill, aged 18. The household feels noticeably smaller than those seen during the Victorian period, perhaps reflecting changing agricultural practices. Interestingly, Bishon Farm could not be located in either the 1911 census or the 1939 register, leaving a small mystery in the property's documentary history. The next newspaper mention comes from 1949, when the Bromyard News reported the marriage of Leslie Henry Watkins, whose family was associated with Bishon Farm. Even after more than a century of documented history, the farm remained an active part of the local community. The most recent chapter begins in 2025, when plans were approved for 8 houses to be built in an old orchard at Bishon Farm. The proposed development generated debate, with concerns raised regarding drainage, contamination and the condition of existing farm buildings. Despite these objections, full planning permission was granted, but as of July 2026, no work has commenced. And that brings us back to the legend. The story claims that a young girl died after falling through the floor, and that her grief-stricken father later took his own life in the attic. Yet after examining nearly 2 centuries of evidence, including censuses, marriages, deaths, auctions, criminal investigations, property sales and local newspaper reports, I could find absolutely no evidence whatsoever to support either claim. There was no newspaper report of a child dying at the property. There was no report of a suicide. There is no documentary evidence linking either event to Bishon Farm. Could something have happened that never made it into the records? Of course, history is never completely certain. But based on the evidence currently available, the tragic story appears to be folklore rather than documented fact. The real history of Bishon Farm is fascinating enough on its own. It is a story of farming families, servants, orchards, cider making, crime, prosperity, hardship and change across nearly 200 years of Herefordshire history. And that's the story of Bishon Farm. What began as an investigation into a supposed haunting turned into a journey through generations of real people who lived and worked here, leaving behind a rich documentary trail that tells a far more compelling story than any ghost tale ever could. As always, I'll leave the final judgment up to you. Do you think there's still something hidden behind the legend, or has an old folklore story simply become attached to an ancient building over time? If you enjoyed this deep dive into local history, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to Woodside Walker, and let me know in the comments which location you'd like me to investigate next. Right, we are just inside this wonderful old house. It's got to be Tudor, but it's big. So, staircase going upstairs. We'll have a look in a bit, see how safe it is. Got a random teddy with this massive, big, thick door. like stone flooring. Window there into the living room. Fantastic. So got another entrance door there, got a door off to the right and a room off to the left here. Let's go in here. Amazing wallpaper. Oops. Oh wow. Got a lovely old sofa. Wow, look at this place. Oh, it's so hot today. Really high ceilings with beams on. Got a bit of mould over in that corner, but look at this fireplace. Wow. Got some cupboards built into the walls either side of the window. Lovely big window there with a window seat on it, I presume. Lovely room. Let's have a look what's in this cupboard. Ooh, just a fuse box. It's lovely, isn't it? There's a pair of shoes under that chair, which is a bit creepy. Let's carry on through to what I think it might be the kitchen. Let's have a look. Or an outhouse. Oh, hang on, the kitchen goes down here. The wallpaper. Oh, it's a big kitchen. Well, a long kitchen. It's quite big though. Very nice. Got a big hole up there. Got hooks or something. They may have been for hanging food on, or they might have been for that pipes went along. I think maybe pipes. Got a nice window there. Got a downstairs bathroom. Let's have a look with a door going off. Well, no, it's part of the kitchen, but there's a toilet in here. Maybe this is the bathroom in here. Let's have a look. No, that won't open. But no, this is another part of the kitchen. Because we've got an auger in here. But as you can see, everything's been smashed up as usual. This looks like this was part of the kitchen, but they've put a wall in because that window just looks strange, like it's been blocked in half. But we've got a nice auger there. A nice side cabinet. Some nice tyres. Oof, nice cobweb I've just walked through. Yeah. Got a calendar here from 2022, so that's possibly when it was last lived in. Let's have a look into this kitchen then. So presuming whether this was the original kitchen, but it's definitely been blocked in half, so it would have been all of the two rooms together. Lovely. Look at this old door here. Lovely door. got no handle on it. It's open. No, wedged shut. But yeah, I've got another big hole in the ceiling up there. It's a lovely house so far, really nice. It's got like an outhouse thing in here. Somebody's bike. Oh, lots of bikes. Oh wow, like a workshop. Some more bikes. So this might have been an original cold store or keeping the meat in. Ooh, do we look behind the curtains? Maybe not. Ooh, yeah, it's like a workshop. What's this creepy thing over here? What's that? Ooh. I think there's a mouse or something in here. It's just gone scurrying off. Right, so let's go and have a look at the other side of the building. Room through here. It's a big room here. Looks like it was used as a downstairs bedroom at some point. So possibly elderly residents slept down here after a while. It's a lovely fireplace. Dear, they've had some serious damp and mould issues. There's something in there. I don't know if you can hear that. Something behind that wall. Flies or wasps. Oof. Right, I won't stay in this room too long then. Oh my goodness, what the hell? What the actual... Are they flies? What the hell is that? Oh my god, there's been something dead in here. Jesus Christ. Ugh. Right. We won't stay and get out of this room. And then we just got a room in here. Oh, downstairs bathroom. Okay, so this is the bathroom. Bath looks a bit grim. And then they've built in a shower by the looks of it. Yeah, that looks fairly new. Fairly new shower. As you can see, the wallpaper is coming off. Right, well that is the downstairs. We'll go and see how far we can get upstairs. This room, I don't even want to contemplate why there's all those flies by that window. That's not good. But yeah. Oops. We'll go and see what upstairs is like. Right, well, it's more than one level by the looks of it. Goes up again. Wow. Oh, Christ. Here's a big room. The floors feel slightly on a slope, so perhaps we won't venture too far in. There's a blocked up fireplace there. You can see the windowsill, the window frame is coming away. So the looks like the mortar's gone. Yeah, I don't know, 2022 it's been empty, so 4 years, but I'd imagine it was in a pretty bad state before then. But it's a shame to see it empty. Right. Let's go around here. This looks like it was a bathroom, maybe. Look at the state of that window. Look at that. Oh dear. It's not in a good way, this, is it? Like they've blocked off. They've blocked off this room from the landing, look. It's interesting. Wallpaper. It's just about clinging on for dear life. But yeah. It's a big place with lots of land. Just into this room, which is a big massive room. Wow. You can see, got nature coming in. There's another blocked off fireplace. But yeah, it's gets left too long. There ain't going to be anything left, but really tall ceilings. It's lovely. But yeah, there's a definite tilt to the house. Not quite as bad as the one I've been to previously, but right. Let's have a look round here. Oh, this is a bathroom. Oh my God, look how basic this bathroom is. They've got a camping toilet. Ooh, and the bath is tiny. Look at that, it's tiny. I'm not going in because there's big spiders' webs. But yeah, I think downstairs toilet is definitely an improvement. I'm not even going to look in there. We go up these steps into this room, which is huge. Look at the size of this room. Oh my goodness, this must have been like an upstairs living room, surely. Look at that fireplace, it's gorgeous. Massive ceilings again. What a huge room. And I kind of like the wallpaper. But a lovely big room. I love the fireplace. Cast iron fireplace. Beautiful. There's the old sweeper. carpet sweeper. It's gorgeous. Yeah, lovely big room. Could be such a lovely house, but I think the walls are a bit too rotten. Right, there is another upstairs bit. There's more. Oh my goodness. That looks creepy. That looks creepy. Let's go and have a look. Right, so we're going up into the attic. Possibly servants' quarters. But oh my goodness. Look at this. I'm not going in there, but look at that. There's a door into there. There's a chamber pot. There's two chamber pots. But I'm not going into there. Oh, there's three. There's two more. Yeah, so that's where your chamber pots go to die. There is an interesting looking box over there, but I'm not going to risk it. So I've got a load of stuff all here. Tools and something. What's that? Looks like a glasses case, maybe. Some dominoes. Table tennis bats. Rope. But let's go and have a look through this door. Oh, there's a great big hole in there. Just peek through the doorway. Oh dear, look at that. What the hell? Is that piece of plywood just holding up that frame? Good grief. That doesn't look very well, does it? What a shame. What an absolute shame. Then we go into this other room and it's the same the other side. Oh my god, so there's two holes either side. Look at that. Good grief. That ain't gonna last long, is it? Look at the fire over there. They've got all like horse tackle stuff in here. That looks like a gas mask over there, but there's a saddle here on the floor. There's what looks like maybe a rifle case and an old electric fire, but good grief. Right, we'll go back to the way I came in, which was through a basement kind of thing, cellar. And we'll see what we can see outside. There are some cows, so I can't go any near where they are. But what a house. What a lovely house. Right, so this is down to the cellar. I'll go and have a look down there. So this is down in the basement, in the cellar. It's all like strips of wood. It looks like a big old barrel or something over there. But yeah, it's a big space. It's probably the oldest part of the building.